The Knicks just made one thing very obvious. They could be the team we expect them to be. The Knicks have been such an enigma lately. One minute, they're absolutely dominating, riding a 9-game win streak where they looked unstoppable. And the next, they're stumbling through a 3-game losing streak. Then, just when you think they're on the ropes, they turn around and destroy the Bucks by 34 points. It's a wild ride, but it's also proof of what this team is capable of when they get everything clicking. The Bucks game especially felt like a statement, almost like a turning point. It wasn't just the scoreline. The vibe of that game was different. The rotation was shortened, and Landry Shamet didn't even touch the floor, which was a major departure from the norm. Sometimes, those small adjustments can completely shift a team's momentum. Let's rewind a bit and talk about that 9-game win streak, because it was something special. During that stretch, the Knicks were second in win percentage on the season. Think about that. They weren't just one of the better teams during those games, they were one of the very best. That kind of consistency doesn't come from luck. It comes from execution. Night after night, they weren't just winning games, they were controlling them. They had a presence on the court that said, "We're in charge, and you're going to have to fight for every single point." Their shooting during that streak was lights out. They ranked 6th in field goal percentage and 4th in three-point percentage. That's not the kind of shooting that happens by accident. It was all about careful shot selection and flawless execution. Every possession during that stretch looked deliberate, like they were completely in sync with each other. You could see the confidence building with each shot they took. When a team shoots like that, it's demoralizing for opponents, who know they have to play nearly perfect basketball just to keep up. Defensively, they were a nightmare for opposing teams during that run. Ranking 3rd in defensive rating wasn't just a fluke. It was a reflection of how locked in they were. This wasn't a team relying on 1 or 2 players to make big defensive plays. Everyone on the floor was stepping up, closing out on shooters, contesting shots, and making it incredibly hard for opposing offenses to find any kind of rhythm. Defense has always been the foundation for winning basketball. And during those 9 games, the Knicks made it their identity. Rebounding was another area where they excelled. They were 4th in defensive rebounds and 8th in total rebounds over those games. Those numbers might not seem flashy at first glance, but the impact was massive. Defensive rebounds meant they were ending possessions for opponents, while offensive boards created second chance opportunities that broke the spirit of other teams. They didn't just grab rebounds, they fought for it, showing a level of effort and tenacity that can't be taught. Ball movement during the streak was another highlight. They were 8th in assists, 7th in assist percentage, and 4th in assist ratio. It was team basketball at its finest. Watching them during that run was like seeing a perfectly choreographed dance. They weren't relying on isolation plays or individual brilliance. They were sharing the ball, making the extra pass, and getting everyone involved. That unselfish style of play led to some beautiful basketball. Combine that with their efficiency, they were 6th in true shooting percentage and 5th in effective field goal percentage. And you've got a team playing some of the smartest basketball in the league. One of the most impressive things during the streak was their discipline. They committed the 3rd fewest fouls, which is no small feat. Staying aggressive on defense without fouling is a tricky balance. But the Knicks nailed it. By not sending opponents to the free throw line, they forced teams to earn every single point. That kind of discipline isn't just about skill, it's about focus and attention to detail. And it spoke volumes about how locked in they were during that stretch. At the rim, they were just as dominant. Ranking 10th in blocks showed they were protecting the paint and making it tough for opponents to score inside. It wasn't just about stopping shots, it was about making opponents think twice before even attempting to drive to the basket. They made life miserable for anyone trying to score inside, and it was a big part of their success. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, the Knicks. Their net rating during the streak was 3rd in the league, and that stat really tells the story. Net rating measures how much better a team is than their opponents per 100 possessions, and being 3rd showed just how dominant they were. It wasn't just their offense or defense carrying the load, it was both. They were balanced, consistent, and firing on all cylinders. Another area where they stood out was player impact estimate, or PIE. They ranked 3rd, which is a stat that measures a team's overall contribution relative to the game. What that told you was that this wasn't a one-man show. It wasn't just about a single superstar carrying the team. Everyone was contributing, playing their roles to perfection, and stepping up when it mattered most. Now, let's fast forward to the present, because things got a little bumpy after that streak. The 3-game losing skid that followed was a harsh reality check. Momentum is such a fragile thing in sports, and once it's lost, it can be hard to get back. But then came the Bucks game. Beating a team like that by 34 points is no small feat. It wasn't just the scoreline that stood out, it was how they played. The shortened rotation was a bold move, but it paid off. Landry Shamet, who's usually a key part of their rotation, didn't play, and it seemed to create a different dynamic on the floor. That game felt like a statement. It was as if the Knicks were saying, we're still here and we're not going anywhere. The energy, the effort, and the execution were all on point. Sometimes, all it takes is one game, like that, to turn things around. The confidence from a win like that can carry over into the next stretch of games. And the Knicks might have found their spark again. Looking ahead, the challenge will be consistency. The 9-game win streak showed what they're capable of when everything is clicking. But the 3-game losing streak was a reminder of how quickly things can fall apart. If they can build on the momentum from the Bucks game and find a way to sustain that level of play, they'll be a force to be reckoned with. The tools are all there. They just need to put it together on a nightly basis. But for the Knicks, one thing that's obvious is that for them to be great, Brunson has to be great. It's really that simple. He's not just another piece of the puzzle. He's the centerpiece that everything else revolves around. Let's start with the basics. When Brunson is on, the Knicks are a different team. Take the recent game against the Bucks, where he exploded for 44 points in less than 30 minutes. That's the most points in franchise history for a player in under 30 minutes. Think about that for a second. The Knicks have a storied history, and Brunson just etched his name in it. The numbers from that game were insane. 44 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, while shooting 62% from the field. He hit 16 of his 26 shots, knocked down 5 out of 10 three-pointers, and was nearly perfect from the line, sinking 7 of 8 free throws. That's efficiency at its finest. And it wasn't just the scoring. He posted a plus-minus 23, showing how much of a positive impact he had on the floor. What's wild is that he got hurt early in the third quarter, and for a moment, everyone thought he might be out for the game. But then he came back just a few minutes later and picked up right where he left off, still torching the Bucks. That kind of toughness and resilience is what separates good players from great ones. He's not just talented, he's relentless. In that same game, Brunson put up 23 points in the first quarter alone. Let that sink in. 23 points in a single quarter. To put that in perspective, Giannis and Damian Lillard combined for 46 points in the entire game. Brunson, on his own, nearly matched them. That's the kind of performance that makes you stop and say, wow, this wasn't some outlier game either. Brunson has been putting up these kinds of numbers all season. He's tied with Carmelo Anthony for the most 40-point games by a Knick. And here's the thing, he's doing it efficiently. He's one of only 2 players in the entire league averaging over 25 points per game and 5 assists per game while shooting at least 40% from 3. The other, Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP. That's elite company. Let's talk about his consistency. Over his last 7 games, he scored under 20 points only twice. In one of those games, he still managed to make a significant impact with his playmaking and leadership. That's what makes him so special. It's not just the scoring, it's everything else he brings to the table. His presence alone changes the dynamic of the team. At halftime against the Bucks, Brunson had already racked up 27 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds while shooting 9 of 15 from the field. That marked his 5th half this season with at least 25 points. No other Knick in history has done that as consistently. It's a testament to how much he means to this team. Brunson's impact isn't just about scoring or even passing. It's about the way he elevates everyone around him. He's not just a star, he's a leader. He creates opportunities for his teammates with his vision and decision making. His assist percentage is over 32%, meaning nearly a third of his teammates' field goals are assisted by him when he's on the floor. That's remarkable. His turnover percentage, on the other hand, is ridiculously low. At just 7.65%, he's in the top tier of ball security among players. For every 100 plays he's involved in, he's only turning it over a handful of times. That's elite control, especially for a player who handles the ball as much as he does. His ball handling is ranked in the 98th percentile, nearly unmatched in the league. When Brunson is on the court, the Knicks' offensive rating jumps to 120.4. Their defensive rating is 114.4, puts him in the top tier of players in the entire league. His presence alone creates a positive margin for the Knicks, and that's something you can't overlook. The advanced stats only tell part of the story though. Watching Brunson play, you can see how much he means to this team. He controls the pace of the game, dictates the flow of the offense, and makes everyone around him better. His usage rate is just under 30%, which means he's directly involved in nearly a third of the team's offensive possessions. That's a massive workload, but he handles it with ease. It's not just his scoring that stands out, it's his efficiency. He's averaging 17.8 field goal attempts, 7 free throw attempts, and 7.5 assists per game. That's a lot of actions per game, but his turnover rate remains low. He knows how to maximize every possession, which is why he's such a valuable player. Brunson's ability to draw defenders and create space for his teammates is a game changer. His assist rate of over 32% shows how often he's setting up his teammates for success. Whether it's a perfectly timed pass or simply creating enough gravity to pull defenders away from the action, he's always making the right play. The Knicks' success hinges on Brunson being at his best. When he's firing on all cylinders, the team looks unstoppable. But when he struggles, the entire team feels it. That's not a knock on the rest of the roster. It's just the reality of having a player like Brunson as the engine of the offense. He sets the tone, and everyone else follows. It's also worth noting how durable Brunson has been this season. Even when he's taken hits or dealt with minor injuries, he's found a way to stay on the floor and contribute. That toughness is infectious, and it inspires his teammates to give it their all. He's not just a scorer or a playmaker, he's a fighter. One of the most impressive things about Brunson is his ability to perform under pressure. Whether it's a close game or a big moment, he never seems to shy away. His confidence is unshakable, and that rubs off on the rest of the team. When your leader is that composed and focused, it's hard not to feel the same way. Brunson's impact goes beyond the numbers, though. He's a culture setter. He's brought a level of professionalism and work ethic that the Knicks desperately needed. His approach to the game, both on and off the court, has set the standard for what it means to be a Knick. He's not just playing for himself, he's playing for the team, the fans, and the city. The Knicks have had their ups and downs this season, but one thing has remained constant. When Brunson is great, the Knicks are great. His ability to elevate his game and carry the team is what sets him apart. He's the catalyst for everything they do. And as long as he's playing at this level, the Knicks will always have a chance. And equally as much, Towns has to be great too. There's no way around it. His presence, skill, and impact on both ends of the floor are the driving forces behind the team's potential. Towns isn't just an important piece. He's the piece that makes the Knicks machine run smoothly. And when he's playing at the level he's been at recently, the team looks unstoppable. Let's start with his recent performance against the Bucks, where he absolutely dominated. Towns dropped 30 points, grabbed 18 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists, while shooting an incredible 62% from the field. He hit 10 of 16 shots, including 5 of 10 from beyond the arc, and posted a plus-minus of +28. That kind of performance doesn't just happen. It's the product of a player who's fully locked in and understands the moment. He wasn't just scoring or rebounding, he was completely controlling the game. What's even more impressive is how Towns' game has elevated this season compared to last year. His scoring has jumped from 21.8 points per game to 25.3, and his rebounding has skyrocketed from 8.3 per game to 13.9. He's also improved his shooting efficiency across the board. His field goal percentage has climbed from 50.4% to 55.2%, and his three-point shooting has gone from 41.6% to an eye-popping 45%. Those numbers aren't just better, they're elite. Towns' improvements have put him into serious MVP conversations with a top 3 spot on the MVP track. That's no small feat when you consider the competition in the league right now. His effective field goal percentage, which factors in the value of three-pointers, is 61.7%, ranking him ahead of more than 87% of players. His true shooting percentage, which measures overall scoring efficiency, is an incredible 66.4%. placing him ahead of 92% of players. Simply put, Towns isn't just efficient, he's one of the most efficient players in the entire league. His offensive rating this season is 121.5, meaning the Knicks score at an elite rate when he's on the floor. Defensively, he's been just as impactful, with a defensive rating of 112.5. Combine the two, and you get a net rating of probably 9.0. That means the Knicks are outscoring opponents by 9 points per 100 possessions when Towns is on the court. Those kinds of numbers are what you see from MVP caliber players. Towns' ability to impact the game on both ends is rare. He's grabbing 13.9 rebounds per game, which ranks second in the league. His defensive rebound percentage is a staggering 31.25%, meaning he's grabbing nearly a third of all available defensive rebounds while he's on the floor. That's better than 99% of players. On the offensive glass, he's pulling down 3 rebounds per game, with an offensive rebound percentage of 9.15%. Those second chance opportunities he creates are huge for the Knicks, giving them extra possessions and a chance to build momentum. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the way Towns plays the game. He's a matchup nightmare for opposing teams. His ability to stretch the floor with his shooting, combined with his dominance in the paint, makes him almost impossible to guard. He's averaging 16.4 field goal attempts per game and nearly 6 free throw attempts, showing how involved he is in the Knicks offense. His usage rate of 27.2% highlights just how much the team relies on him to make things happen. Towns isn't just a scorer though, he's also a capable playmaker, averaging 3.3 assists per game. While that number might not jump off the page, it's important to note that he's not a primary ball handler. The fact that he can still facilitate and create opportunities for his teammates speaks volumes about his versatility. His assist percentage of 32.87% shows that he's setting up nearly a third of his teammates' field goals when he's on the floor. That's the kind of unselfish play that elevates everyone around him. Defensively, Towns has taken significant strides this season. He's averaging 1 steal and nearly 1 block per game, but his impact goes beyond the basic stats. His team defensive efficiency is 112.5, and his mixed team defense ranking places him ahead of 90% of players. He's not just protecting the rim, he's actively disrupting opposing offenses and making it tough for them to find a rhythm. His presence in the paint forces opponents to think twice before driving to the basket, and that kind of intimidation factor is invaluable. What makes Towns so special is that he's more than just a stats guy. Sure, the numbers are incredible, but it's the way he affects the game that truly sets him apart. His on-off numbers are a perfect example of this. When he's on the court, the Knicks have a positive point differential of plus 6.6, meaning they're significantly better with him than without him. That kind of impact is what separates great players from superstar. One area where Towns has been particularly dominant is his ability to close out games. His composure and confidence in high-pressure situations are unmatched. When the Knicks need a big play, he's the one they turn to. Whether it's hitting a clutch shot, grabbing a crucial rebound, or making a smart defensive play, Towns has consistently delivered when it matters most. His leadership is another factor that can't be overlooked. Towns isn't just a star player, he's a leader on and off the court. His work ethic, determination, and drive set the tone for the entire team. When your best player is also your hardest worker, it creates a culture of accountability and excellence. That's exactly what the Knicks need to reach the next level. Towns' ability to elevate his game this season has been nothing short of remarkable. He's shown that he can be the focal point of a winning team and that he has what it takes to lead the Knicks to greatness. But for the team to truly thrive, Towns has to continue playing at this level. His consistency is key. The Knicks rely on him to set the tone, and when he's firing on all cylinders, the entire team follows suit. The Knicks have been a team with high expectations this season, and Towns is the reason why. His presence changes everything for this team. He's the anchor, the leader, and the engine that drives them forward. As long as he's playing at an MVP level, the Knicks will always have a chance to compete with the best teams in the league. Karl-Anthony Towns is the heartbeat of this Knicks team. His scoring, rebounding, playmaking, and defense make him one of the most complete players in the league. And while the Knicks have a talented roster, it's clear that their success starts and ends with Towns. If he continues to play like this, the sky's the limit for the Knicks. But one thing is for sure, for the Knicks to be great, Karl-Anthony Towns has to be great. But one guy who I can confidently say has given it his all this season is Josh Hart. Josh Hart has been nothing short of incredible this season. At 6 feet 4 inches tall, his rebounding alone has been jaw-dropping. But that's just the start of what he's bringing to the Knicks. Let's dive into everything that makes his season so remarkable and why he's been such a critical piece for the team. First, let's talk about his rebounding, because it's absolutely insane. Hart is leading all guards in the league with 9.2 rebounds per game. That's not just impressive, it's historic for a player of his size. Rebounding is usually dominated by big men, but Hart is breaking the mold. His defensive rebounding, in particular, has been outstanding. He's grabbing 7.1 defensive boards per game, which gives him a defensive rebound percentage of 18.9. That means he's snagging nearly 1 in 5 available defensive rebounds when he's on the court, putting him ahead of 83% of players. He's not just cleaning up missed shots, he's controlling the glass in a way that sets the tone for the entire team. And let's not forget his work on the offensive boards. Hart is averaging 2.1 offensive rebounds per game, which is nearly unheard of for a guard. His offensive rebound percentage of 5.78 highlights his relentless effort to create second chance opportunities. Those extra possessions don't just pad his stats. They're game-changing plays that swing momentum. When you have a guard who can rebound like that, it forces opposing teams to adjust their strategies, which opens up opportunities for the rest of the squad. Now, moving on to his scoring, which has been incredibly efficient. Hart is putting up 14.5 points per game while shooting an impressive 56.2% from the field. That shooting percentage ranks him in the top 13% of players league-wide. His true shooting percentage of 66.4 and effective field goal percentage of 63 are both elite. He's ahead of more than 90% of players in scoring efficiency, and it's easy to see why. When Josh Hart takes a shot, it feels like it's going in almost every time. Hart's scoring versatility is another key to his success. At the rim, he's converting an incredible 75.3% of his attempts. That ranks him in the 94th percentile and makes him one of the best finishers in the league, regardless of position. His ability to finish in traffic, often against taller and stronger defenders, is nothing short of remarkable. Add to that his three-point shooting, where he's hitting 38.8% of his attempts, and you've got a player who can score from anywhere on the floor. That kind of dual threat capability keeps defenses on their heels and makes him a constant problem for opponents. But Hart's contributions don't stop with scoring and rebounding. He's also been a playmaking force for the Knicks this season. He's averaging 5.6 assists per game, which puts him in the top 29% of players. His assist percentage of 19.57 is a career high, showing just how much he's contributing to the Knicks' ball movement. He's not just making the easy passes, he's creating opportunities for his teammates, often setting them up for high percentage shots. The 13.6 points per game he's assisting on highlight how central he's been to the team's offensive success. What really stands out about Hart's playmaking is his ability to take care of the ball. Despite handling it a lot, he's averaging just 1.9 turnovers per game. That balance of high assist numbers and low turnovers shows his intelligence and composure on the court. His ball handling, which ranks in the 94th percentile, is another big reason why he's so effective. He's confident, controlled, and always seems to make the right decisions. Defensively, Hart has been just as impactful. He's averaging 1.5 steals per game, adding nearly half a block per contest, and consistently making life difficult for opponents. His team defensive efficiency of 113.5 puts him in the top tier of players, while his mixed team defense ranking highlights his ability to disrupt both individual matchups and team offenses. Hart is the kind of defender who doesn't just rely on athleticism. He uses his instincts, positioning, and relentless effort to make a difference. Advanced stats tell an even clearer story of Hart's impact. His net rating of Pug 6.2 is elite, showing that the Knicks are significantly better when he's on the court. For every 100 possessions, the team is outscoring opponents by more than 6 points with Hart in the lineup. His on-off numbers are just as revealing. When Hart is on the floor, the Knicks are plus 3.9 points per 100 possessions better than when he's off. Those numbers aren't just good. They're the kind of stats you see from players who make winning plays night in and night out. Hart's second chance scoring is another area where he's been phenomenal. He's among the league leaders in second chance points for guards with 78 on the season. That puts him just behind players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Amen Thompson. Second chance points are all about effort, timing, and awareness, and Hart excels in all three areas. He's always in the right place at the right time, whether it's to grab a loose ball or put back a missed shot. Consistency has been the hallmark of Hart's season. Game after game, he's delivering, regardless of the opponent or situation. 60.5% of his games this season have come with a positive plus-minus, showing that he's making a tangible impact almost every time he steps on the court. That kind of reliability is something every team covets, and the Knicks are no exception. Hart's offensive rating of 119.7 and defensive rating of 113.5 highlight just how well-rounded his game is. He's excelling on both ends of the floor, and his contributions are a big reason why the Knicks have been so competitive this season. His rebounding dominance, scoring efficiency, and defensive intensity make him one of the most versatile players in the league. At 6 feet 4 inches tall, Hart's ability to rebound like a big man, score with elite efficiency, and defend at a high level makes him a truly unique player. He's not just filling a role, he's doing everything. The Knicks have leaned on him in so many ways this season, and he's responded by delivering across the board. Whether it's grabbing a crucial rebound, setting up a teammate, or locking down an opponent, Hart has been there every step of the way. Josh Hart's season has been nothing short of spectacular. His rebounding numbers alone would be enough to turn heads. But when you add in his scoring, playmaking, and defensive impact, it's clear that he's been one of the most important players on the Knicks roster. He's doing it all, and he's doing it at an elite level. For a team looking to compete with the best in the league, having a player like Hart who can contribute in so many ways is a game changer. Josh Hart's relentless effort, versatility, and ability to elevate the Knicks in every facet of the game have been a joy to watch. He's not just having a great season, he's having a career-defining one. The numbers, the impact, and the effort all speak for themselves. Josh Hart has been incredible this season, and he's shown no signs of slowing down. But also, they did give up a lot of picks for Bridges. For the Knicks to reach their full potential, Bridges has to be at his best. He's not just a key part of the team, he's a player who can tip the scales in their favor when he's firing on all cylinders. Bridges has shown flashes of brilliance this season, and when he's locked in, the Knicks look like a completely different team. His ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor is exactly what makes him so crucial to their success. Let's start with the numbers, because Bridges has been solid across the board. He's averaging 17.9 points per game while shooting an efficient 49% from the field. That level of scoring efficiency is something every team needs, and Bridges delivers it consistently. His offensive rating of 120.8 is among the best in the league, showing just how effective he is when he's on the floor. His net rating of plus 7.4 is even more impressive. It means the Knicks are outscoring opponents by 7.4 points per 100 possessions with him in the game. Bridges' shooting efficiency isn't just about raw percentages, it's about making the most of his opportunities. He's averaging 15.1 field goal attempts per game and only 1.1 free throw attempts. Yet he still finds ways to contribute nearly 18 points a night. That level of efficiency is rare for a player who doesn't rely heavily on free throws. It's all about smart shot selection and execution, and Bridges has mastered both. One area where Bridges has really stood out is his ability to take care of the ball. His turnover percentage is an incredibly low 7.48%. Meaning he's turning the ball over less than 8 times per 100 plays. That's elite ball security, especially for a player who's involved in nearly 20% of the team's offensive possessions. His usage rate of 19.2% shows he's not the primary option, but he's still making a significant impact without dominating the ball. Defensively, Bridges has been just as important. His defensive rating of 113.4 highlights his ability to disrupt opposing offenses and hold his own against some of the league's best scorers. He's not just a one-dimensional player. His presence on the defensive end is a big reason why the Knicks have been able to stay competitive. Whether it's contesting shots, cutting off passing lanes, or just being in the right place at the right time, Bridges is making life difficult for opponents. What really stands out about Bridges is how much better the Knicks are when he's on the floor. His on-off numbers tell the story. The Knicks are plus 5.3 points per 100 possessions better with Bridges playing. That kind of impact isn't something you can overlook. It's a clear indication of how valuable he is to the team's success. And it's not just about scoring or defense, it's about the intangibles he brings. Bridges' presence gives the Knicks a sense of stability and confidence that's hard to quantify, but easy to see when you watch them play. Rebounding hasn't been a major part of Bridges' game this season, as he's averaging just 3.2 boards per game. But that doesn't mean he's not contributing in other ways. His assist numbers, for example, have been solid. He's averaging 3.1 assists per game, with an assist percentage of nearly 20%. That shows he's doing more than just scoring. He's also setting up his teammates and keeping the offense flowing. Despite some recent struggles, like scoring just 6 points combined over the last 3 games, Bridges has shown the ability to bounce back. Everyone has rough patches, but what separates great players from good ones is their ability to overcome those stretches and return to form. Bridges has proven time and again that he can do just that. His consistency earlier in the season was a big reason why the Knicks were able to string together some impressive performances. Even when his shot isn't falling, Bridges finds ways to contribute. His ability to limit turnovers and make smart decisions with the ball ensures he's still a positive presence on the court. It's not always about putting up big numbers. It's about making the right plays and helping the team win. And Bridges understands that better than most. One of the most impressive things about Bridges this season is how much he's grown as a player. His ability to balance scoring, playmaking, and defense has made him one of the most versatile players on the Knicks roster. He's not just filling a role, he's elevating it. Whether it's hitting a clutch shot, making a timely pass, or locking down an opposing player, Bridges is doing everything the Knicks need from him, and more. The advanced stats back up just how impactful Bridges has been. His games with a positive plus-minus percentage are at 66.7%, meaning he's making a tangible impact in 2/3 of his appearances. That kind of consistency is something every team needs, and the Knicks are no exception. Bridges isn't just a player who has good games. He's a player who consistently helps his team win. Bridges' efficiency extends to nearly every aspect of his game. His points per scoring attempt are 1.3, putting him ahead of more than 94% of players in the league. That level of efficiency is incredibly valuable, especially for a team that relies on him to be a steady contributor. He's not just taking shots, he's taking the right shots and it's paying off. For the Knicks to reach their full potential, Bridges needs to maintain this level of play and even take it up a notch. He's already shown he has the tools to be a game changer, but sustaining that level of performance is the key. When Bridges is at his best, the Knicks are a force to be reckoned with. His ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor makes him indispensable, and his presence gives the team a chance to compete with anyone in the league. Bridges is the kind of player every team dreams of having. He's smart, efficient, and impactful in so many different ways. Whether it's his scoring, defense, or ability to make the right play, Bridges is doing it all for the Knicks this season. His combination of skills and versatility makes him one of the most important players on the roster, and it's clear that for the Knicks to be great, Bridges has to be great. One thing I do want to talk about, though, is how much Mitchell Robinson will help when he comes back. Mitchell Robinson is such a vital piece for the Knicks, and his return from injury could change everything for this team. He might not always grab the headlines, but his impact is undeniable. Whether it's rebounding, protecting the rim, or anchoring the defense, Robinson does the kind of work that takes a team from good to great. With him back in the mix, the Knicks will look completely different. Rebounding is where Robinson truly stands out. Last season, he averaged an incredible 4.5 offensive rebounds per game, putting him in the top 1% of players. That's not just elite, that's almost unheard of. Offensive rebounds mean extra possessions, and extra possessions lead to more scoring opportunities. Robinson has this uncanny ability to time his jumps perfectly and position himself exactly where the ball is likely to go. His offensive rebound percentage of 17.1 is wild, showing how often he's securing those second chances for his team. Those are the kinds of plays that can break an opponent's spirit. Defensively, he's no slouch on the boards. Robinson averaged 3.8 defensive rebounds per game last season, with a defensive rebound percentage of 16.77. While his defensive rebounding numbers might not jump off the page, his consistency is key. He's the kind of player who steps up in those crucial moments when securing the ball matters most. It's not just about grabbing rebounds, it's about grabbing them when they count. And then there's his defense. Robinson is one of the best rim protectors in the league. His defensive rating of 116.9 last season shows how important he is to the Knicks' success. When he's on the floor, opponents hesitate to attack the basket. They know he's there, lurking, ready to contest or block any shot that comes near the paint. That kind of intimidation is rare. Robinson doesn't just block shots, he changes them. Players are forced to adjust their shots, and that hesitation often leads to missed opportunities. It's a skill that doesn't always show up in the box score, but makes a massive difference in the game. What's even more impressive is how disciplined Robinson is as a defender. He contests shots without fouling, a skill that's often overlooked but incredibly valuable. His ability to stay vertical and avoid unnecessary contact is a big reason why he's so effective. He's not just playing defense, he's playing smart defense. Offensively, Robinson is all about efficiency. He knows his role and plays it perfectly. Last season, he posted an offensive rating of 119.5, making him one of the most effective players in the league when it comes to converting opportunities. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to make an impact, which makes him the perfect fit alongside the Knicks' ball-dominant stars. Whether it's finishing lobs, cleaning up misses, or creating second-chance points, Robinson makes the most of every touch. One of the most underrated aspects of Robinson's game is how much he contributes without scoring. His net rating of plus 2.6 last season says it all. When he's on the floor, the Knicks are better, plain and simple. More than half the time he's in the game, the team finishes with a positive plus-minus. That consistency is something you can't teach. Robinson doesn't need flashy plays to make a difference. He just goes out and gets the job done. The Knicks have been holding their own this season, but Robinson's return will take them to another level. His ability to dominate the boards and protect the rim fills two of the team's biggest needs. With Robinson back in the lineup, their weaknesses in rebounding and interior defense become strength. He gives the team a foundation to build on and allows them to play with more confidence and aggression. Robinson's endurance is another critical factor. He's shown he can handle big minutes without losing effectiveness. That's huge for a team with playoff aspirations. His consistency gives the Knicks a reliable presence, whether they need to close out a tight game or stabilize the defense during a tough stretch. Knowing they can count on Robinson in high-pressure situations is a big advantage. What makes Robinson's return so exciting is how much it will benefit his teammates. Players like Jalen Brunson and Bridges will thrive with Robinson anchoring the defense and grabbing rebounds. His ability to erase mistakes and create extra possessions takes so much pressure off the rest of the team. When Robinson is in the mix, everyone else gets to focus on their strengths, and that ripple effect can elevate the entire roster. Defensively, Robinson transforms the Knicks from a good team into an elite one. His presence in the paint gives the perimeter defenders more freedom to take risks, knowing he's there to back them up. That kind of defensive synergy is what separates great teams from the rest of the pack. When Robinson is patrolling the middle, opposing offenses struggle to find their rhythm. On the offensive end, Robinson's rebounding is just as important. Every offensive rebound he grabs gives the Knicks another shot at scoring, and those extra possessions often make the difference in close games. His timing, positioning, and sheer effort on the glass are unmatched. He's the type of player who can single-handedly shift momentum with his hustle. Looking at Robinson's overall game, it's clear he's one of the most valuable players on the Knicks roster. His rebounding, defense, and efficiency make him a force to be reckoned with. But what really sets him apart is how he elevates his teammates. Robinson does all the little things, the stuff that doesn't always show up in the stats, but is absolutely essential to winning basketball. The potential of the Knicks with a healthy Robinson is sky high. His skill set perfectly complements the team's other stars. He doesn't need the spotlight. He just needs to do his job. And when he does, the Knicks are a much tougher team to beat. His ability to dominate the boards, protect the rim, and play efficient offense makes him the ultimate glue guy, the player who holds everything together. Mitchell Robinson's return isn't just about adding another body to the rotation, it's about restoring the foundation of the Knicks' success. His presence impacts the game in so many ways, from controlling the paint to creating extra possessions. With Robinson healthy, the Knicks become a more complete team, ready to compete at the highest level. Watching him do his thing is a reminder of just how important he is, and his return will undoubtedly be a game changer for the Knicks moving forward. Overall, though, the Knicks' success this season hinges on a collective effort driven by key players excelling in their roles. Jalen Brunson has been the engine of the offense, combining scoring efficiency, playmaking, and leadership. Karl-Anthony Towns brings elite scoring and rebounding while thriving with a reduced defensive load. Josh Hart's relentless energy, unmatched rebounding for his size, and ability to contribute in every aspect of the game elevate the team on both ends. Bridges adds consistent scoring, defensive versatility, and the ability to impact games with efficiency and poise. Together, their unique skills and chemistry make the Knicks a balanced and dangerous team, capable of competing with the league's best. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.